Morning, Canine crew. I understand there's at least a couple of you all who may remember that show.
Still do.
The robot arm officer here in the Mission Control Center, called the Payload Deployment and Retrieval Systems Officer, or PDRS, reports that the wake shield has now broken its seal with its carrier platform and is in the process of slowly being raised above the payload bay into the low hover position. This is the first major step on the road to the deployment of the wake shield, which is scheduled at around 4:38 a.m. Central Time this morning, if all goes well. Astronauts Jim Newman and Jim Voss raising the wake shield facility out of its carrier platform in this view from payload bay cameras in the shuttle. The wake shield is being carefully lifted directly vertical behind the Spartan Science satellite. Now this view from a camera at the rear of the payload bay, clearly showing the wake shield facility being lifted out of its cargo bay. The orbiter is currently tracking over the Pacific Ocean on
the Endeavour, the wake shield is clear, and we've sent the SC2 repower command.
Copy, Endeavour.
Again, the 2-ton wake shield facility now being lifted to a low hover position over the payload bay by astronauts Jim Newman and Jim Voss. This is a clear view of the wake side of the satellite, the carousel side where the thin films will be grown in that canister at the bottom of the satellite that looks like the bottom of a triangle. Chemical compounds, predominantly gallium arsenide compounds, will be shot into that carousel atom by atom, layer by layer, as thin films are grown over the course of 2 days of free flight by the wake shield once it is deployed by Jim Newman later this morning. This close-up view now showing the wake side of the satellite, the science side of the satellite, where shutters will open back and forth during the course of the thin film growth to allow chemicals to stream through those tubes at the bottom of the picture into a carousel. Those tubes are the carrier panels, if you will, for all of the chemical compounds that will be used to build the thin films, the thin wafer like.
Endeavour, with some updates on wake shield, we're in step 3, page 2-4. We have sent the bus selection pre-flight comm channel 2, and we are not getting ages resetting and incrementing on flyer SCIU, PDU sensors, and A to D converters.
Copy, Underdog. We'll look into it.
You see from our down list that you apparently are getting data.
Astronaut Jim Newman now slowly maneuvering the wake shield facility from directly over the cargo bay to a position over the port side of the sill of the payload bay for the so-called ram cleaning operation. This view from payload bay cameras on Endeavour shows the orbiter approaching sunrise in the west coast of Africa, with the wake shield facility hanging at the end of the robot arm over the port side of the payload bay in the so-called ram cleaning position. That has now begun about a 2 to 2.5 hour procedure where atomic oxygen will stream over the wake shield and give it a bath, if you will, to remove any excess contamination which may have built up on the wake shield during its time in the cargo bay. All of the free fly or activation operations will continue at this point. The wake shield itself is called the free flyer. The other component of the wake shield facility is its carrier platform in the cargo bay. This is Mission Control Houston at a mission elapsed time of 3 days, 15 hours, 54 minutes into the flight of Endeavour. This live picture from the elbow camera on the robot arm of the shuttle Endeavour, showing the wake shield facility as it hangs outside the port side of the payload bay of the shuttle in the ram cleaning position, as it is called. But payload officials and the flight control team want to make sure that there is no further interruption of that stream of telemetry before giving the go to deploy the wake shield facility. This live television picture now from the shuttle Endeavour shows the wake shield hanging at the end of the robot arm over the starboard side of the orbiter as it passes over the northwest portion of Africa. This is in the attitude and the position for the continuing checkout of the attitude, determination, and control system on the wake shield before it is scheduled to be deployed an hour and a half from now at 6:10 a.m. Central Time.
Okay, thanks.
The MMD referred to by astronaut Jim Newman aboard Endeavour is a microgravity measurement device which will be used on the wake shield facility as part of the data collection effort that the wake shield will undertake over the next 50 hours.
Could we see Charles in bus A right now? And does that mean you want us to run the start block if it doesn't have a 1 delta when we get to that point? Jim Voss is coming down to the mid-deck, and we have a few PGSCs on this flight, and we found a use for all of them. At this time, during the wake shield a few days, we'll actually be, and did today, use all of them. We had several set up on the mid-deck. Those two PGSCs, the one on the left is the Goddard payload stuff, and the one on the right is the GPS. The orbiter now has GPS installed, and we're helping those guys learn more about GPS so that we can, when we install GPS into the flight software, our flight controllers will be able to use it the same way they do the KU band now and the tracking stations on the ground. This is just one of the displays that they have. It shows the satellites being tracked and where we are on the Earth. We also have a little world map on there. It shows us where GPS thinks we are, and it agrees quite well with the orbiter state vector that the FIDO's uplink to us. On this flight, we do have a GPS on the wake shield as well as on the orbiter.
Well, we're going to show you a little bit about the rendezvous now. Here's part of the team. It really took all 5 of us to do this one. In the terminal phase, Cujo's up in the front, reading procedures, keeping everybody focused, and backing me up. Well, we have Pluto and Underdog in the back. Underdog getting ready, of course, to do the grapple. Pluto running the rendezvous tools, the handheld laser, and generally helping me out. And then Jim played a vital role trying to document this and in helping me build sunshades in real time to try and keep the sun out of our eyes. This turned out to be real challenging with the beta angle we've got, particularly with the fly around that we had, which caused us to spend a little extra time. So we didn't get as good a video as we would have liked out of these cameras. We were too busy in the windows. However, we did manage to get the thing aboard, as you saw, and Underdog did just a super job of grappling the thing because we had rates in 2 axes and we weren't able to damp them all out. We did get them fairly low for him, and he did a terrific job on the the capture, and here we now see the final desired end result, the Spartan settling into its cradle to be brought home, hopefully after a successful mission.
Thanks. That was a nice tour.
Houston, Endeavour.
Go ahead, Endeavour.
Yeah, I kind of delayed my exercise a bit to be with you for wake shield. It shows an exercise period here on the flight plan, followed by some more wake shield monitoring, which I'd be happy to do. How would you like me to fit that exercise in?
Thanks for asking. We'll get back with you. That's a great picture.
Okay, well, as you can see, we're going to get a really nice release here. Pluto did a super job of letting it go without any tip-off or anything. You can see he just muffled dog face out of the window. But it's an absolutely perfect, smooth release. Really good job by him.
It's a good-looking spaceship.
Yeah, it is. It's real pretty. Interestingly enough, we had trouble getting laser marks on it at close range off the ram side. I'm sorry, the wake side. Yeah, the ram side's a little better. It tends to diffuse the laser instead of reflecting it back on that really smooth surface. One area where the real thing sure beats the simulator all to heck, although the behavior was exactly as the simulator predicted. It sure